What if Bitcoin isn't just an investment, but it's the most efficient business model ever created? Gary Cardone, veteran serial entrepreneur and investor, argues that Bitcoin outperforms traditional businesses on every single level.
I know a guy that owns 42 subways, got crushed. 42 subways, could not make $1. I think a lot of those businesses are going to no longer exist in the future.
0 employees, 0 overhead, 0 human error. Instead of managing franchises, real estate, or complex portfolios, he views Bitcoin as a self-running enterprise that compounds wealth without friction or failure.
With Bitcoin, all I have to do is sit on my hands. It will take me 8 to 12 years to build a business and exit. 4 years, I can exit Bitcoin and make a 45% return with 0 headaches, by the way.
Gary breaks down why legacy industries are collapsing under inflation, insurance costs, and regulatory decay, and why Bitcoin has become the ultimate hedge, the ultimate business, and the ultimate opt-out.
This is a $2 trillion industry going to a $200 trillion industry. None of you guys understand how big this is going to be. $2 trillion industries do not fail. Like, it's got too much inertia.
This is not a discussion about price. It's about the transformation of capital, work, and wealth in the digital age.
Let's go.
I was saying to you before we were recording that the United States government somehow added $127,000 to their strategic, 127,000 Bitcoin to their strategic Bitcoin reserve because of a scam like that, which just blows my mind.
Better us than someone else.
Yeah, I don't understand how a Chinese national scamming people from Cambodia is our money, but I guess it's good to be America.
We're here. It's good to be American.
It is good to be American.
I think so.
So listen,
It has a lot of issues, but I think it's the best option right now.
Yeah.
We could go to France.
You could.
You could.
You would fit in perfectly.
You would do awesome.
I would do great there. You need tighter pants, but otherwise I think I'd be fine. So when I just want to bounce shit around, I call you. And this time we can actually do it in person, which is fun.
Much better than Zoom.
Yeah, so much better than Zoom.
Dude, your new digs are awesome.
Thank you.
Really,
so what do you think of the market here? Let's just start there. I want to talk about treasury companies. I want to talk about the market, talk about MicroStrategy, all the things we talk about on Spaces and kick around behind closed doors. As we're recording, it's Friday, 110-ish, I think. Yeah. I haven't really looked in a few hours. Obviously had that massive liquidation event a couple weeks ago, but stocks are gapping up. Gold still, after one retrace, is pretty good. I mean, it's an everything bull market.
Yeah, silver's strong. The market wants hard assets, man. I mean, for sure. You'd have to be blind not to see it. And I think Bitcoin's just following it.
Do you think that people view it as that yet?
No, I don't think they understand that narrative. But the retail player isn't really driving any of this anyway. It's institutional players, huge families, sovereigns. Where are they going to take? Look, all that money needs a yield, man. And it's sitting in assets that aren't generating anything. Or they're in businesses that look like they're dying. Do you really want a bunch of access to retail when you know retail is changing? Do you want access to the pharmaceutical industry when you know there's all the DOJ exposures and problems? And, it just seems to me people are looking for safe places to hold their wealth and hopefully get some appreciation.
That's interesting. When you say people are looking for safe places to hold their wealth, you don't usually think of Bitcoin as far as the narrative.
Funny that, huh?
Right? So that's the opposite of the speculative excess you usually see at market tops. So if you think people are looking for safe places to put their money, that doesn't feel like we're anywhere near a top. When people start YOLO gambling on NFTs and meme coins is usually kind of a top signal. Although I guess gold was being treated that way around the world of late.
But, I think there's a lot of markets that if you look at them, all that behavior is going on. The immature behavior. I mean, driving over here was a 28-minute drive, and I'm listening to some people that are heavy into crypto. And they're all talking about the losses and how they've suffered. And I'm sitting here going, I've been in this space 5 years. I have been able to multiply my wealth, basically look at Bitcoin as a business. Don't look at it as a savings plan. My option is I can go invest $1 million or $2 million or $100,000 into a new business with an idea and then run that business and hire a bunch of people And if I'm successful, I'm going to have 1,000 headaches, and I'll exit in 10 years, if I'm lucky. And then I look at Bitcoin and I go, I can buy Bitcoin at 27,000, 37,000, 110,000. 110,000 wouldn't buy me a tenth of a Popeyes fried chicken franchise. Yet I can buy a whole Bitcoin, have no requirements for insurance, which is escalating. Like, I just canceled my insurance on my house. I'm like, I'm not paying you $100,000 a year for a $6 million deductible. Come on, that's ridiculous, okay? I might as well just waive the insurance and take my risk. So I think there's a lot of industries that are getting so pricey that it's a part of the market that's just going to break. That people are going to stop consuming so much stuff. I think we have met max consumption on this planet at the super wealthy and the very poor. That is the thing that we all share in common. The super poor and the super rich, we have maxed out consumption.
Isn't there always another yacht?
No.
They're out?
No, like, go talk to them. And the moment we see more second-term jets available for sale, new jets available for sale, jet fuel prices, and the charters available, this is a huge indicator. I look at three things. How many brokers are calling me to sell me a plane? Talk to cab drivers. Hey, are you getting tips in Vegas? And go to a casino. And that's the best indicator of any economy in the world. This economy is weird, man, right now. It's broken. It's broken at the poor end, and I think it's broken at the high end, because I don't think the high end can buy any more Rolex watches, villas, countries, yachts. These all come with headaches, and they all come with people to manage. I have back to Bitcoin as a business, not just an investment vehicle. I look at it and go, wow, I get a 30%. Let's cut that in half. I get a 15% CAGR a year. I have no HR department. I have no legal documents. I have no K-1s. I have no people whatsoever. I have zero human error risk for the first time in my life, and a great idea. And all I have to do is execute. I am the risk. I just have to execute, keep adding to a 4-year stack. And no human being on the planet has ever bought the top of Bitcoin, held it for 4 years, and lost any money whatsoever. That is a great trade. That is a great business, dude. And it'll cost you $2 million to buy a Popeyes fried chicken franchise.
Is that really how much they are now?
$1 to $2 million, but then you have to run it. And you have to deal with the snotty-nosed, greasy, dirty kids that are coming in your store. You've got to deal with the consumers who are only going to bitch. You've got to handle all the glass when it gets broken through the junior high school football game that they had a fight at the Popeyes. And over and over and over. And you've got to pay Popeyes the juice whether you made any margin or not. And you're in the deal for 10 or 15 years. I know a guy that owns 42 Subways, got crushed. Just absolutely got crushed. Okay, 42 Subways, could not make $1. I think a lot of those businesses are going to no longer exist in the future. We're moving to a high-speed planet. And you can't, hey, here's 2 kilos of silver, man. Let's do a transaction. That's not the world we're going to. We're going to super speed. You know, I came out here, drove 28 minutes. We could have done this digitally.
Of course.
Right? Now, we wanted to see each other, have a coffee, whatever, but we have options today we did not have 10 years ago. I mean, tremendously different options. Like, I'm reading 3 books a day, 3 books a week. I've never read 3 books a week. If I had to do it with a physical book, I probably couldn't do the 3 books a week.
Are you 2Xing it on audio? I mean, that's what I do.
Just in every form, visual, audio, YouTube, listening to you. People can poo-poo all they want on the space. There is tremendous amount of intelligence in there, if you can scatter through all the bullshit, and the pumps and the motivations that may have some kind of nefarious or motivation. But that's true about every meeting I've ever had.
That's the first time I've heard you talk about Bitcoin as a business. I don't think I've ever talked about that comparison.
Well, this is all I've ever done is build businesses by myself, fund the whole thing. And then I'm looking around going, wow, I'm risking my thing to John. And John got a better job. Now I don't have John's my business development guy, or my partner decides I can sell the business for $500 million, and she decides, well, I don't want to sell it.
Yeah.
What? We just made $500 million, dude. Yeah, but I don't want to get out yet. I'm not done. Well, then buy mine for $250. Nah, I don't want to do that. Well, I have a liquidity problem now. See, no entrepreneurs ever talk about the failures they had in building businesses and exiting. No one ever talks about the exit. Okay? And you get chewed up in the exit. That's the truth. And that's true of exiting a Bitcoin or a Solana or any. No one ever talks about investing in crypto and then exiting. You can make a whole weekly show on it, dude.
Yeah.
Okay?
Selling is a lot harder than buying.
It is planning an exit. Oh, selling and getting out and walking out the door of anything is much, much, much more difficult than getting in.
With the Bitcoin as a business analogy, you kind of alluded to, though, there has to be, if you're going to treat it as a business, there's got to be some profit.
Does it?
You got to sell it, or
Amazon's
or
one
is
of the
it
greatest
just,
companies in the world and didn't have profit for 12
But I mean,
years.
for you individually, like if you say, "Hey, my business is buying Bitcoin," you still got to live a life.
Dude, that is a great conversation. Show me a business that you build that tomorrow generates positive income. I've never built one of those. Now, if I'm speculating, okay, let me pick heads or tails. Oh, wow, profit. Is that sustainable business? I have to build a business. Usually, in order for me to get over here, I had to put fuel in my car first. And then I came over here. So I've made an investment of $20. I'm not going to get my return on investment, Scott. I need $22. That's a horrible way to look at things, right? Right. My business is my brand, me, Gary Cardone, right? So it makes a lot of sense for me to spend $22, develop a relationship with you, hopefully increase my brand a little bit, learn something. These are all investments for the business, right? And so for me to invest $100,000 into Bitcoin and say, okay, I'm just going to do nothing. I'm going to do this. You're going to say, yeah, but you need some income. No, I don't need any income. I don't want any income. I don't get income from my businesses that I build immediately, positive income. I usually have to keep writing checks. With Bitcoin, all I have to do is sit on my hands. Okay, I don't want the income because you know what I'm going to do with the income? I'm going to spend it. And spending it isn't going to help me get more Bitcoin. So that's why I think I love the non-yielding Bitcoin play because I'm only interested in this. It will take me 8 to 12 years to build a business and exit it. 4 years, I can exit Bitcoin and make a 45% return. I cannot do with zero headaches, by the way. I get to decide to run this business from Asia or the Bahamas or Tierra Verde, Florida. I get to come over and see you anytime I want. Somebody wants to take me bird shitting, I get to go do that too. And I just don't know a better business. I'm looking for a great business. I'm not looking for an ego trophy. Or look, I manage 12,000 people. Once you get past 150 people, you can't manage them anyway. And if you're like you and me, once you get past 15, you can't manage them.
1.5.
That's about me too. Guy. Yeah. So that's and if you really think about it logically, it does make sense to just look at it as business because no business pays income. But most entrepreneurs, how much do you get paid in your salary?
Nothing.
Nothing, dude. You get nothing. Most founders get zero. I have never made a salary ever. I made a salary at the fraud company for a little while. I'm like, I don't want a salary, dude. If we make positive income, the company's paying for all my private jet travel. When we make positive income, company pays for all my private jet travel. I like that because it's great for the company. They get to net it off their profits. I get to fly private when I'm big enough to float the company, when it gets revenue positive. But it's an awful fucking lot of work. When I could buy Bitcoin over the last 4 years for probably average, if I just did it monthly, 57.
50? Yeah, 50, 60.
I'm up 100%. And now I can borrow against it.
That was my next question.
Boom. I get a big enough stack, I can now go to the people and go, hey, look at my stack. I've taken my stack to my bank who does not do anything in Bitcoin. It fucking impressed the shit out of them. They love me now.
You can go to JP Morgan now. As of today, they made the announcement. It's not available by the end of the year. You'll be able to use Bitcoin, Ethereum as collateral. Yeah. How nuts is that?
It's great. Well,
I mean, not that it's happening, but JP Morgan. Jamie Dimon even, I think, made a comment this morning. I didn't see the exact quote. I just heard people talking about it. I'm still cool on the industry, but I mean, he's a businessman and knows what the people want. But I would say that Jamie Dimon is one of our most outspoken critics. JP Morgan's doing it. Ken Griffin from Citadel, I mean, just saying that this is Bitcoin for the debasement trade. Vanguard now potentially, Vanguard potentially coming. So if you've got Citibank is going to be cussing the assets, Bank of New York, Mellon, State Street. So they should be treating it like any other asset in someone's portfolio, right? So we shouldn't be paying the 9, 10, 11, 12% interest rates on Bitcoin borrowing in a year. It might be that now, but once everybody's there and it's a competitive market again, even though it's volatile, it's less volatile than the securities they'll give you loans against at this point.
Right.
Like Meta stock can have a 20% day. So what are we
People
talking
talk about
here?
Bitcoin volatility. I'm like, what are you talking
Not
about?
anymore, right? I mean, the
Why
big.
don't you go look at United Healthcare?
If the largest asset in the world, gold, can drop 7-8% in a day, then
Absolutely,
what are we even talking about? But so you should have 5, 6, 7% rates, 4, 3 as the rates come down in the future. Like,
well,
that to me, then you're like Bitcoin's a business because I can pay my rent with.
Yeah, well, this is what's happening, right? 18 months ago, you could not borrow against Bitcoin, like you could in the black market. But a year ago, a couple of guys came out and said, if we custody, I'm not going to name them because they pissed me off, but if we custody your Bitcoin, well, I thought, look, you can't be a Bitcoiner and then tell me you're going to charge me 15% to hold the best collateral on planet Earth. It just irritated me. It's like, dude, come on, man. This is the best collateral on planet Earth. Second to a Glock 17 when you need it. I mean, seriously. And it's right near you, right? And I'm like, there is no chance of me ever paying 15%. And I won't pay 10. If I can get below 8, I will do it. And I'm below 8 from major institutions. I could get 5 from people that we know.
Yeah.
It's just a big, heavy lift for me to move it. But you start getting fairly large numbers. I mean, I've added 30% to my stack, dude.
So you're using the loans to buy more Bitcoin.
Of course. Oh, well, I'm not flying to Las Vegas. You ask, hey, you want to go to Las Vegas? I went, I don't think I really need to go to another trade show, dude.
Fly Spirit, man. Come on, we could have done it for $200. Vegas is cheap if you don't do it your way.
Why don't you take John with you? I'll pay for John's ticket, and y'all can videotape the whole thing, and I'll watch.
Just say it's possible.
I didn't do all this work on Bitcoin to fly.
Yeah, it's funny that like the Bitcoiners who have $1 billion and drive like an 85, Accord because they don't want to spend a penny of it.
Well, I'm not driving an Accord, but if I think about this as a business, I mean, I've probably been invited to 5 things to speak at in the last 2 months. And no.
Same.
And it's not because I don't want to go, but if I'm looking at Bitcoin now as a core business of mine, like I can do this now for 15, 20 years. Because I don't have to grind myself into the ground going to meetings that are absolutely useless. To all you guys that work at big companies, like once you walk into a room with more than 6 people, you're just talking about stuff that's general knowledge.
And you leave your soul at the door because you're dying in there.
And you don't say anything. You want to die. It dawned on me one day, I'm like, wow, all the important decisions get made between 1 or 2 people. And when you want to announce when the Christmas party is, you invite everybody. And it's a complete waste of time. So I look at this and go, well, do I want to spend $100,000 going to Vegas for 3 days, or could I buy another Bitcoin? And people go, $100,000 to Vegas? Well, it's 3 days. I mean, just look, you can say it's not $100,000, but then I'll do 3 trips. And then sooner or later, these are expenses I am paying to go to meetings, just like I drove over here to you. Okay? I need a return on investment at some point. And it's not going to give me a return. All people are going to do is, hey, you want to invest in my fund, man? Yeah, dude. If it can outdo Bitcoin like a motherfucker, I'll do your fund. But right now, I have the ability to buy $110,000 Bitcoin. Why would I do a fund with 2 and 20?
And be locked up for years. The problem is, to me, it's the lockup. It's not even the performance. Like
most people don't know the lockup's 10 plus on these trades, man. 10 plus.
I don't even know where I'll be in.
Grant's 10 plus 10 on the real estate. 10 plus 10 at his discretion. And I don't know what the ego deaths and all the funds are. And look, some of those funds are awesome. But if I don't have to get locked up, why would I? And if I don't have to pay 2 and 20, why would I? And if this is a better return than running a Popeyes franchise or a Dick's Sporting store, and most certainly it's safer than me buying Intel.
And by the way, if the market completely collapses, like the economy generally, even if Bitcoin goes down, your Popeyes is totally f***ed.
Oh my God.
So at least you
If
still
the
have your,
power
at least
goes
you still
down,
have
by
your
the way.
Bitcoin and can wait it out. That Popeyes is done.
You remember the
So you actually have less exposure to like downside in the economy by holding Bitcoin that goes down than you do by having a business that depends on people having money in the economy.
Correct, man. And if we're now going to use this double D word, like I've never heard this word before. Okay, dollar debasement is being used now. It is becoming nomenclature, and in the finance, this has not been done before. Recessions you could talk about, dude. You never talked about dollar deflation. It was almost heresy. And this word is being used by the largest players on the planet. You just mentioned them. You should be listening to that. I mean, that is a serious message. In this case, Bitcoin's a monster play and dollar debasement.
That's the only
The
asset.
play.
Gold and Bitcoin were everyone who named, like, they all say, hey, there's this
Correct.
debasement trade, but what should you actually do for it? Every other asset was shuffled around. Silver, some said. NASDAQ, Paul Tudor Jones said, which I thought was interesting. He's the only one who included stocks in the debasement trade, but it does make sense, actually. But otherwise, everybody said Bitcoin and gold. I wouldn't do it, but I see where he's coming from when he made the argument.
His theory is if analog goes to shit,
and if it just that rich people is like, this is, if you're betting on a divide of the rich and the poor, the rich just find new shit to buy that's going to go up and be a hedge, and maybe the NASDAQ is a part of that. I'd rather just buy Bitcoin, obviously. It's funny, you talk about Bitcoin as a business, and all these businessmen like yourself, the few who get it really get it. And you see the light bulb come on with a lot of people. We were talking about Ricardo Salinas. I think you're going to El Salvador soon. And this guy's a billionaire, like one of the richest men in Mexico, and has run all these businesses. And you talked about what happens when he talks about Bitcoin.
Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating. I can't remember, it was you or someone else that was interviewing him. And the guy just, like, I observe people pretty well. It's a gift of mine. And when I see a 70-year-old billionaire get extremely excited, when he was talking about his business, right? And he's got all these businesses here. And then he's got this small little Bitcoin thing. And all his big businesses are awesome. But when he started talking about his liquid position, the image I had was a 14-year-old, a 13-year-old little boy finding his first penthouse.
First Playboy, man, yeah.
First Playboy, dude. This guy was like, dude, he was so excited. I'm like, oh, that's a monster indicator. That's a man who's fallen in love with an idea. And like when you're an entrepreneur and you see an idea and you fall in love with it, you surrender almost your entire life to it. Really, it's almost like a marriage. And an entrepreneur will really understand, like, you surrender everything to a business, and it's got all these operating risk in it. Surrendering to Bitcoin is so easy. It's just so easy. I mean, I would actually be lying to anyone if I didn't really express the value of looking at Bitcoin as a business. And everyone wants to own their own business. Everybody wants to be the CEO of their own business. And it's easy. Do your day job, start stacking Bitcoin. If it's good enough for Michael Saylor, that's a business for him, dude. He's not having to add thousands of people to add Bitcoin. He will be one of the most profitable per employee businesses in the world. He could stack another 100,000 Bitcoin and add 3 staff members.
Yep.
I mean, that is a beautiful business model.
Yeah, I talked to him this morning in prep for the Vegas conversation, and his narrative right now is heavily on the digital credit side. All this layered products that he's been able to offer, the offerings, you can get, 16% effective yield here, 12, different risk, different volatility for every single person. I wonder how a JP Morgan announcement like today ends up affecting someone like a Strategy. Like, he's created all these products, but now we're really talking about being able to put the Bitcoin directly to work, or people being able to put their Bitcoin directly to work. Kind of a new era.
This is why I think we're underpriced, because it's really, really, really what?
We have a broken vent, and nobody can get into the vent to figure it out from the inside or the outside. So when the wind blows the wrong way, we get the drummer boy. So of course you hear that. It's great. Perfect timing. Didn't think about that. Back to Saylor.
Yeah.
You can keep that in.
So it's been really hard to buy Bitcoin. It's still hard to buy Bitcoin. I mean, and it's hard to listen to some of the stuff about Bitcoin because it's so confusing. This is a part of Bitcoin no one ever confronts, is that decentralization with decentralization comes a lot of issues that aren't good, by the way. They are not positive attributes to a market. I was with Mark Yusko one day in Miami 3 or 4 years ago. We were pounding on a bottle of tequila pretty well, having dinner. And he was like, decentralization, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, because I know he's a good Catholic boy.
He'll get going.
Huh?
And he'll get going.
Oh, yeah. And I said, Mark, let's be honest. You and I are good Catholic boys. I don't know if that's true, but and if we believe that our God at the very central of our church is honest and honorable and trustworthy, let's admit that centralization is perfect. Like, we would not have an issue with that. And he's like, well, you're right about that. It's the human nature of this that's the problem, okay, on the centralization. But the truth is, why did I come here? This is a central location. If we get bombed today, we're both going to die. Ooh, risky, right? Yeah, but it's more valuable. It's a very different connection to have with another human being than on Zoom. So, to me, the problem with Bitcoin, I was so excited about Wall Street coming in because hey, we will get a common message. We're going to get little videos from JP Morgan with stick figures and show you how
BlackRock's already done it. Yeah,
exactly, because you've never had a common message about Bitcoin. One's been anarchy, one's been freedom, one's been perfect money. It is not perfect money. This comment about Bitcoin being perfect money in an imperfect world is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's hyperbolic. It's ridiculous.
Because nobody wants to spend it.
It puts people off too, these comments. So this product is getting ready to get sold. No one's going to even know they have Bitcoin. I've heard you say this so many, dude, when you got Bitcoin, you didn't even know you got it. That's exactly right. You should not have to carry the Bitcoin logo all over the place. Who cares? If it's invading the entire financial organism at every level, from every crack and crevice, who gives a toss what we call it? You just need to get impregnated in the system.
I always found it so funny when people were so emotionally angry at an Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg or something like that. I would never invest in their company. I would never, buy Meta. I would never buy Tesla. And then you say to that person, "Oh, what's your 401k in?" I don't know, SPY. Well, by the way, you own a shit ton of Tesla, a lot of Meta, and by the way, MicroStrategy's in there.
Dynamics.
MicroStrategy and Coinbase are in the Nasdaq and the S&P, and if you're indexing, you own all that shit. And it's the flip side of that is the stupidity of people saying BlackRock owns 15% of MicroStrategy or things like that when you know that they're just passively indexing and they're not taking any active position. They own the miners. Of course they do, because they own literally everything that they're putting into indexes. But everybody is going to own everything, and everybody already probably has exposure to this and all the other things they hate.
I don't know that everybody does.
Oh, excuse me.
But
the investing public, whoever that may be, the 5% of people who have enough money to buy something, whatever it is.
Yeah, but we're still way, way, way under adopted.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people overestimate our adoption. I personally don't think we're over 2%. Not a chance.
2% adoption as far as usage, or just have any exposure to the asset?
Have any exposure. In total dollar terms,
Yeah,
It's just not a big number yet. I mean, that's why it should be exciting, because I look at it and go, wow, we're early, man. Google took 30 years to become a $1 trillion business. 27 years, I think. Google, okay? And they're basically a country U.S. CIA operation. I mean, it took 30 years. Amazon lost money forever and had so many drawdowns, it was stupid.
iBit has 100 billion. It's 1/10 of the way there in a year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, that's staggering. And people are like, hey, wow, why hasn't it moved the market?
I think it has.
Oh,
we were in the 40s when it was approved, right?
This market is a different market than it was when I came in 4 years ago.
But you were the person who beat the drum from the day I met you that this was the inevitable conclusion of how it would go. You always said it would be Wall Street, the suits in the room, the major institutions are coming, and all the libertarians yelled at you and said, fuck the government and fuck the
They called me
institutions.
suit. I don't know why people would call me a suit, just because I came from that world. I commend Bitcoin community for really understanding their product, but y'all need to go out and get the art of war, because you do not study the competition at all, or the marketplace, or the addressable market, or even the terminology. Like, Bitcoin is a settlement system. Quit talking to Visa about a transaction system. You're not even in the same category. If Visa and MasterCard do not settle for 180 days, I can settle in 10 minutes. Which system do you want?
I don't know if you saw this stat.
I mean, it's not even close, man. 24/7.
I'm going to misquote the numbers, but actually I think it was Stablecoins did 46 trillion in transactions last year.
Exceeded credit.
3 times Visa and about half of ACH. I think ACH was 91, 92, maybe it was 48 and 92, but stablecoins are literally eating the world while nobody's looking.
Correct. And that's where the credit card companies they're going to stick their nose hard in that space.
They have to.
They have to. They have to.
Is there anything, as you sort of risk manage the idea of Bitcoin being a business or Bitcoin in general, is there any signal you could have where you would say, shit, I was wrong? Like, is there a price it can go to? Is there, a nation state level attack or something that could happen to it that would actually like shake your conviction? Because I know you're a guy who's willing to change his opinion. Yeah,
look, I've made enough mistakes that, the more confident I am, the more I ask myself, hey, how could this be wrong? I remember meeting Scaramucci 5 years ago maybe, and I asked him how much Bitcoin he had. I didn't know that was a thing. I still ask people, but actually I asked him what their average price is. He told me, he told me how many he had. He said, hey man, and he knew that I was seriously long, like stupid. And he said, hey, do you think, this is when we were at 30 grand. Hey man, do you think this is stupid, being so consolidated? And I looked at him, my answer was, look, I have a 15 and 18-year-old kid. If I'm wrong, and if you're wrong, Anthony, his cost base is much cheaper than mine. I figure that our children are going to grow up exactly the way you and I did. And if I'm right, my kids have a massive problem to deal with. They're going to be billionaires. And who is prepared to deal with that? 0 human beings are prepared to deal with that kind of wealth. So to me, he loved the answer, man. He thought that was an awesome answer. And I think it is a good answer. If the whole world goes to shit, and it will one day, because it's built on matches and gasoline, man, okay? And a small little fire extinguisher called the Fed, who I think is totally out of control. Not even on, he's on the stage, but it's not even like you're a puppet, you're a paper. If China decides to do something different, he's done. We have a timing ticking bomb just moving from country to country right now. Like, who's going to blow up first? Is it Japan?
Yeah.
Japan has a problem. So I don't think I get off this trade. And I've been here before. This is how I built I retired when I was 40 years old making decisions like this. And I am so much more sure on this one than I was on the one at 40. This one, no one can with me. No one. I used to go up against ExxonMobil, Shell, Conoco, man, and they hated my guts. I was trying to commoditize energy. What do we have today? The energy market is the best market in the world today. The least manipulated, cannot interrupt the sun of a, including blowing pipelines up. Shit just flows up. It figures out how to...
The water.
No one, exactly. They stick it on the water and they pay $1 for storage. So the other thing, Scott, that I did not understand, I was going to have a lot of opportunity to invest my trapped money in the legacy world into the crypto space. The miners, wow. I've gotten access to the miners. It's given me just a monster upside that's going to convert more Bitcoin. Now, this is a challenge. I have to know when to do that. I have a position in Naka. I'm not really happy about it, but I talk about it because I think that people should make people like me that get on TV screens like you and me and say, hey, dude, I don't always make right decisions. I mean, I bought 500,000 shares at 117, 120, and it's 72 cents. It's a fucking broken company. What else? Strategy, right? Been in strategy for 2.5 years. I had no idea I was going to have access to do all of this. So it's, my allocation to this industry is probably in the 89, 90% range.
But do you view it as you have to get those investments back to Bitcoin at some point, like you said, or do you view them as investments in Bitcoin? Or just high beta Bitcoin investments?
I think they're high beta. I hate to use these words because I don't think most of the audience, but look, these mining companies are extremely risky. Okay, the mining companies make Bitcoin look like a walk in the park. There's only been a few.
Are you still holding them all after this move?
Oh, I'm still here.
Me too. I'm just curious.
Oh yeah.
Well, where'd you buy iron? Where'd you buy iron?
Oh,
you remember?
Stupidly cheap, man.
Yeah, I was thinking it was $3.
I haven't. I'm not in it for 4 years though. I bought it a year and a half ago.
Yeah, same. When Mike
some of these guys
was chirping on my show about
in
it
it 5 years ago. It's like, bro, I mean, that's just too long for me to hold and get a 50x. I mean, it's just like it's a long time to hold those losses. Because there's a lot you could have done. Look, you could have invested in the miners 5 months ago and had almost as good of a return as you and I have had.
Yeah.
Iron Wolf, Cypher, Clean Spark. I did 80,000 shares of Clean Spark. I thought Clean Spark would be the beast because of its cost. It's the worst performer. So you never know. But I will not stay in those miners forever. I'll be out of those miners
sometime this cycle.
Probably within the next 6. I don't think there's a cycle. I think you guys made up a cycle. But in the next 6 months, I think I'll probably be out of that trade.
I think they have a cycle.
Who does?
The miners.
Oh,
I'm not talking about.
weekly.
I'm not talking about the. I also don't ascribe to the 4-year cycle thing anymore. I did, but
there's a cycle. But if Trump gets into office again, it'll be an 8-year cycle.
12 years,
it's really a president.
16 years, 20 years.
Hey, I wonder what kind of odds I could get
on Trump being president again.
Yeah.
We go hit Polymarket.
Hey, somebody tell me what kind of odds you give me. But I got to bet. I got to bet that Donald Trump's our president. 26-30.
Well,
if he's alive.
Well, they'll impeach him in a year when the Democrats take one of them. But he won't go out. But they'll do the symbolic impeachment thing.
Yeah. You know, the reason I say that is because I don't know how this market is going to get obliterated if the Democrats come into office. It'll get obliterated. No one wants that, even the Democrats. Okay, this market will get obliterated. We're going through a really bizarre, I think, civilization moment, man, like globally. And America is not in a position where it can just look around and go, okay, I've been doing all this stuff this way. It's not working. But it also isn't on the world stage the way it used to be. It's not framed the same way. The world's not the same. We're not going to be a globalized market. We're going to be a competitive poly market. I love that. I think that's awesome. Go BRICS. Go another currency market center.
Go Bitcoin.
Market centers are good. Yes, exactly. Because we'll end up with gold, silver, and Bitcoin in some type of reserve, some type of banking, some type of, hey, I can invest in real assets that don't get dissolved by political idiocy. Just dissolve like acid.
Which is what the system is built to do. It's not like an accident.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not mismanagement.
But look, all you guys can complain about why it's there. All I got to do is, hey, how do I protect myself? Right? How do I get my family in a position where I'm elevated above all the problems? If I can get enough altitude and watch the war from down there, then I don't get hit, right? I'm just trying to take care of my family or my position relative to where I am. And people go, well, I'll never become rich. Hey, look, why are you thinking about becoming a billionaire when you've only made $1 million this year? Why don't you think about becoming
a $2 millionaire?
Elevating yourself above where you are now? Because you don't just elevate above all billionaires. You elevate gradually above, the town you grew up in. And then, you expand. Your world has expanded. You don't do that if you're just throwing craps up against the wall and crazy ideas. I just can't invest in some of these paper companies. They don't make sense to me. The old analog companies, like the Netflixes of the world. I'm like, wow, how they look like broken businesses.
You mentioned Nakamoto being a broken business. We got to talk about it because you and I both were buying at the same time. It went from $20-something, $4 back to $8. They bought a major stake in Metaplanet. I think now they're trading probably at a discount to just the value of their Bitcoin, not even counting debt. I'm not sure, but we've had a lot of conversations about it. We both said, listen, we're back to where the pipe investors got in, $1.12, $1.10. I can buy it at the same as the early investors. it's already gone down 90%, whatever it is.
I had a feeling when you
good.
said that, I'm like, oh.
I know.
I wish you wouldn't have said that.
We can feel our mistakes of. It was a very long time ago. I felt that way.
Yeah,
a month.
3 weeks ago.
But
45%.
you kind of, and something I really like about you, and you touched on it before, you're very vocal about what you view as your mistakes and very vocal about your decisions, whether you view them to be mistakes or not. We were on Spaces and it was about 90-ish cents, 92, 93. And you're like, the investor part of me says, double down on my position. I'm not going to this time. I made a mistake.
Yep. Well, the ego, my ego, when I make a mistake like that, I bought 2 wedges of it. And then when it went down to 92, I'm like, okay, the first thing I thought was, I think it was in the 80s, actually. I was like, okay, I should just go grab another $500,000 and smash it, lower my average cost.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would I do that, dude? The management's fucked up right now. Okay, why would I go and try to double my position on something that the management's making just fundamental mistakes? I'm sorry, David. You're acting like a child, dude. You got to get off of Twitter. I did not invest in this kind of management. You don't raise $750 million and then go, oh gosh, the convertibles that Michael launched, there's some risk on those. Like, dude, don't tell me that post facto, that you're just learning, okay? Like I'm not interested in paying somebody that's been in Bitcoin 13 years to learn. So look, but that's on me. I'm not really blaming them. I am the one made the mistake. I do think people are going to differentiate. The stock prices most certainly said, we do not approve. So if you don't like me and want to unfollow me, awesome. But every shareholder is telling you, we do not approve. I think the management probably gets, changed, and or somebody picks them up for $600, $700, $800 million. They're worth $300 to $400 million right now, and they've got 5,700 Bitcoin, which should be worth $700 million. So they're trading at a deep discount. They own 15% of Meta. You should ask Saylor. Saylor's got to be looking at going, how many?
Salivating.
Well, for me, he doesn't need to pay a premium for Bitcoin, but Japan, access to the Japanese market would be very interesting for Michael. As a shareholder of strategy, I would love him to have access to Japan. You can't just go launch in Japan.
That's why MetaPlanet's done so well, because they're the only
Well,
game. Well,
they haven't really done that well.
That's why they had done so well, I should say. But they were the only game. They were the only game in town. They were strategy 2020 or 2021 or even 2022. You choose your year, but and this is why Nakamoto, I think, identified the let's go into markets that don't have exposure and create a MicroStrategy type vehicle. I get why they did MetaPlanet, but that's a very unique situation because
I see why Meta did it.
Yeah, because you can't buy an ETF there. And if you buy spot Bitcoin, the taxes for selling are way worse than the taxes for selling the equity. So you're 55%. Getting a huge tax arbitrage by doing it. And there's no other game in town, no ETFs, right? So your MicroStrategy pre-ETF with all the lessons learned. Yeah, it does make sense to me intellectually that you should go do that in every country in the world that doesn't have exposure, but every market's getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Well, you just can't do an issue either. I mean, it's not like you can just go to Japan and, hey, I'm here.
I mean, I'm talking to Saylor in Vegas. So right before you came over, we did the prep call, which basically is just like free college education.
Right.
Said, there's a fireside chat.
MBA.
What are we going to talk about that's totally my decision? But he laid out for me basically a deck on digital credit. And when he put it in a chart, like STRK, STRC, and then versus currencies and versus mutual funds and versus all the yield.
Oh, beautiful.
And when you eliminate the taxes, and I mean, he's just created a bunch of products for people who actually shouldn't care so deeply about Bitcoin to earn a much better yield than they're getting in other markets that can be exited much earlier. And I feel like he's just opened this massive flood of money and continues to find ways to do that. Nobody else is competing with that. So like, I think if you asked him, he would say treasury companies can do this, they can, but I'm not sure that there's an appetite for anyone else beyond him. Like, you don't want some random dude doing that. Where's your appetite for buying that instead of Saylor's STRC? STRC, like the volatility, I think he says 50 bips. Like you can count on it going, 50 bips above 100 or below, you're earning a 10% yield. It's extremely safe. I think it's backed 4 or 5 to 1, whatever it was, by Bitcoin, wildly over collateralized. So A, you can just earn 10% instead of 2% in your bank account. You kind of have Bitcoin exposure, and you can exit it and enter it.
No, you don't have any
Literally
Bitcoin exposure on
anytime
that.
you want.
You have a 10% yield.
Emotionally, you do. I'm participating in the Michael Saylor's.
But I think
yes, you
I
don't.
think that investor doesn't want exposure
Yeah.
to Bitcoin. They just want the 10% yield. They don't care. They don't care, man. My sister doesn't care where she's getting it. You know, once she's in it, hey, how's it
But the more
performing?
interesting conversation there maybe is that he's willing to give a 10% yield, which means he has a very he's willing to pay more than you're willing to pay to one
Absolutely.
of those companies to his interest rate.
Well,
But that means he's paying more than 10%
I would
on his
pay
money
10
to get Bitcoin.
Okay, but I think this is the difference. I would pay 10 if I could borrow $1 trillion to, and his 10% isn't, because most of what he borrowed was at 0. So, like, think about this, and he probably isn't thinking about this. This may be the wrong way to think about it, but my weighted average cost of interest across that whole company, even if I do equal amount at 10%, is less than 6%, dude. If you fucking
If you
bucket
bulk
it all up.
Yeah.
Whoa, I'll most certainly do that with you.
Do you own STRC, STR? Do you own all of them?
No. I don't want yield. Why do you want any income? You got to pay taxes on it. I do not want any income whatsoever. Do not pay me anything, please. Like, I've got some income I'd like to give away. You know, I mean, I take any income I have and smash it into Bitcoin.
You're one of the fortunate people who can live like that. If you're check to
Everyone
check.
can live that. Well, if you want to get into that conversation, okay, the truth is no one's working 80 hours a week. If you're not working 80 hours a week, you own nothing. You know that, dude. We give all you people that are bitching about like not making enough money, no one walks up to my front door and says, what can I do to earn $1,000? This cat's been in my house a bunch of times. Dude, there are 10 jobs to do for $1,000 each. No one. I got a boat $55,000 boat sitting on the back of my goddamn rack. Come take it from me, dude. You can make 15 grand on it. Just get rid of it, pay me something, clean it. No one. Not whites, not blacks, not teenagers, not old people. No one is working 80-hour weeks.
Sold.
And I can buy Bitcoin and work 20-hour week now.
Right there.
You see what I'm saying, though? I just don't believe this is true, okay? Like, if you're at Popeye's Fried Chicken and you're working there, you should be working 2 jobs. That's what I did. Jeez, man. Football players, baseball players, and people on Wall Street work 100 hours every fucking week. Professional ball player, golfer is training on Saturdays and Sundays to play on Monday. Business salespeople show up Monday to prepare for Tuesday. Get into their CRM, figure out who their top 10 clients are. Like, dude, I do not need an automated program or a blockchain or a CRM to tell me who my top 10 clients are. You know who they are? Bitcoin. Those are my top 10 clients. Wow, I don't even get any complaints from my clients. They love me.
It's such a...
No refunds, dude. No lawsuits.
Did you like save this for today, or have you been saying this business thing over and over again? I feel like I haven't like heard that. I feel like I haven't heard the pitch of Bitcoin. Treat Bitcoin as a business.
Dude, I listen,
and I talk to you every day.
We should go on a roll because I listen to all these guys, my brother, and all these people borrowing money. I'm like, that's awesome, dude. I bought 31 Bitcoin last week. I bought 300 Bitcoin. I bought 3,000. Dude, I bought 31, and nobody else but me owns them. I like it, and I did it with debt. Debt that I can afford to pay every month. That's where my income goes. Pay the debt off, 8 or 9%. How is that different than paying 8% for a mortgage? How is it different, right? This house is going to cost you a fucking fortune. You know that, right? It's going to be worth 100 Bitcoin one day.
The stories of people who paid like,
$120 million for my house, dude. I put $8.6 million in that house, and if I'd have bought 1,000 Bitcoin, it's $112 million today.
It's a nice house.
It's a nice house, okay? My insurance just went up 50%. Now, I have a house that's a business, and my insurance just went up 50%.
Is that because of the flood risk?
Yeah. There's one offer.
Yeah, there's only
one offer, and then there was Chubb, $350. Went from 56 to 96, and Chubb's out there at 350. Okay? So, like, HOA fees are going to jack. Real estate's going to get destroyed. This area, like, it's going to be a problem. HOA fees are problematic. And if DeSantis does us a favor and does no tax, which
is that real?
I think it is real.
Or is that just like a,
No, I think
this sounds awesome soundbite? How do you do that? Like, how do the municipalities, I mean, how does Tampa survive without property taxes? I mean, this is literally like this is how we pay for schools.
Yeah, but it is.
Hey, I love the idea of not paying property taxes, but like, it's not like that money's going to be replaced.
Yeah, I don't know.
Schools, firemen, important things. Maybe schools aren't that important, but.
Well, based on the product we're getting, I would say
mean.
that perhaps not.
I think you should like create a
whole deck,
a speech or a deck that Bitcoin is a business, and I think you can go on the Sailor Roadshow. I'm not kidding. Like, I think it's one of the more brilliant framings of it that I've heard.
But you can see what I've been. I mean, look, you saw when I came in the industry, I started investing in companies.
Yeah.
Right, and I started buying Bitcoin. And then I saw Node 40. I stuck $8 million into Node 40. It's a great business, okay? But the more I looked at it, the more I'm like, I think we were about 75,000. I called Perry. I said, Perry, I think I own half the company. I said, Perry, you got to find another investor, dude. Okay, because I don't want to go to any more meetings and talk about accounting. This is a beautiful tool. Okay, it's a great business, but I have spent a whole life building these things, flying around, meeting people, doing biz dev. And the more I looked at it, I'm like, $70,000 Bitcoin. I got $7.5 million in this business. The business is going to be worth a few $100 million easily one day. So are some of the biggest players in the world, but it has noise.
You just buy Bitcoin with all the money you put into that.
I just like, hey, dude, I'm just going to buy Bitcoin because it has no noise. The only noise it has is it does this. And it allows me and Grant bought $108,000 Bitcoin today. We just put bids in. Hey, man, fill me. Fill me when you're ready. Boom. Grant picks up 300. I pick up 30 Bitcoin. And this is...
You think he's going to stop working? He's just going to finally give up on all of it and say, I'm working my ass off? No, he's a bull. Because he could just buy Bitcoin too.
Yeah.
He's got enough money that he could just buy Bitcoin and be fine forever and not have to do anything else.
He's got 42 funds. See, here's another thing.
That's a lot of work.
He couldn't just stop it.
He can't now.
No, he couldn't, dude. Like, you just don't unwind 42 funds. So yes, but I have ultimate freedom here. And I can decide to go anywhere. He's got 42, like, this was his problem getting into Bitcoin because the Bitcoin people were going, you need to sell everything. Dude, you don't just sell 42 fucking assets. 42, 100,000 investors.
I was going to say, yeah.
I mean, right, he's got something going there. He likes the real estate business. I don't really find it that interesting, but it's his whole business. It's been his whole life. And he's the right guy to bring Bitcoin to it. I knew that for sure.
Clearly.
Like, I knew when they hit the guy. Me and Sailor just...
You told me the story about him Sailor calling him a pussy, and then Grant told me this. Grant was like, yeah, he called me a pussy.
Dude, I brought Grant into Sailor's house, and I'm like, and Grant, knows everything, and we're going into there, and I'm just like, dude, you're a pig. You're being led to the slaughter. Okay, I was trying to help my brother, but in order to help certain people, you got to really understand them and do it a different way.
I think I told you, but we were at the Bitcoin conference 22.
Yeah.
And this guy, Richard Byworth, I don't know if you remember him, he came up to me, he was like, I'm with Milei, the ex-president of Argentina. I really think we can orange pill him. Can you set up a meeting with Sailor? And I text Eric Weiss, Sailor's like, buddy. And I'm like, I've got the Argentinian president. Can we come over? And will Sailor meet with him? He's like, yeah, but he's not going to speak. Like, I know he's a president, but like, and went over there, and for 1 hour, Sailor said everything, and Milei didn't say a word, and he left thinking that he had just met the high priest of the future religion of the world. It's just...
Probably did.
But he doesn't, like, Sailor is not hearing it, he's speaking it.
Right.
And it's impressive enough that there's not a person on the planet who walks out of there and says, well, that was dumb. He breaks it down, man.
I think some people have. No, he does break it down. But I think what got Grant was, hey, look, you're not going to double your real estate position in the next 10 years unless you do something spectacular. And, you know, his allocation, I think the first one was 15%. That's what Saylor said, hey, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
But look, that's the right way to communicate with Grant because it got his attention. With due respect to everyone has their own way of transitioning and coming into something. I mean, I'm a little crazy, okay? Like, or maybe I had more pain, or maybe I had an issue I was trying to solve. I think Bitcoin is for people who have an open mind because there's some scratch or itch or problem they have. Most people that come in here, they're trying to solve a problem that really come in hard. And I think I'm actually have a safer investment thesis today than I ever have in my entire life. Safer, much, much, much safer, much better safeguarded, and allowing me to have a better life, which is, I don't know how you value that. Oh, by the way, I also met you and at least 5 dozen high quality people from an industry I knew nothing about. Dude.
Yeah, it's great.
Zero value in the $110,000 price. Literally 5 dozen really high quality people.
Some serious big brains in this industry.
Well, and quality, dude.
Yeah.
Like if I came, hey, I need some place to stay. You guys would let me stay.
Of course.
You'd be like,
stay here tonight.
Gary's awesome. I mean, seriously, that is not. I've been in 5 industries. That has not happened to me.
Emmy told you she was like, if you're still unpacking, just sleep here. It's fine. There's a room over there.
Yeah. But it's an interesting collection of people that are all coming together. That is also one of the things I look at, not just the price. Who's coming in?
Well, it's like betting on
Ray
the jockey.
Dalio.
Yeah, betting on the jockey instead of the horse. If you meet enough great jockey, yeah,
Correct.
Like you meet enough good people, you're like they're on to something.
Oh, and many of these people have serious track records, right? Serious. I mean, Paul Tudor Jones is one of the greatest traders in history, man.
He might have sparked the last bull run with that fastest horse in the race comment. Guys, been on board for a long time.
You know, and then look at the guys that were on board and they misunderstood it, and now they're back on board. Chamath, dude, can you imagine owning 5% of all the supply of Bitcoin and then selling it?
But he's back. He's doing fine.
Oh, yeah. But he'd be in the Oval Office today, dude, if he'd held all that. He'd be in David
He'd be buying the
job.
Oval Office.
He would be in David's job.
Did you see the building the White House ballroom and like the lead donations were like, what was it, Coinbase?
Yeah.
Ripple, maybe. I don't want to misquote, but like 3 huge crypto companies. They're going to get like gold Bitcoins all over the presidential.
Exactly. That'd be awesome.
Like, do you get a Coinbase logo on the ceiling of the White House?
With a Trump signature on it?
You were very political for a while. You seem to have fallen off the political train.
I've never been political. Yeah, I don't.
Let me say you were dabbling for a while.
Well, I gave 12.8 Bitcoin to Trump through Bitcoin community. I didn't give it directly to Trump. Maybe I should have. But I wanted to do it through Bitcoin because I thought the message was more, well, I thought the message was, and I did that with Bailey. Bailey made one phone call to me. I'm like, sure, dude.
I literally was there with you.
It took me 12 hours or so, you know. And I thought it was a good way for me to tell the Bitcoin community that I'm fully in, and also a message to the administration. And it gave me a seat at the table with the Winklevoss guys and all the miners and some of the senators and congressmen to get, look, I knew I was putting a big wedge into this thing, and I just wanted to,
It's like due diligence.
Yeah, exactly. And I've done some reforms like this before. What I don't like about the politics is all the people in between the leaders. It's a parasitic.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable.
And I'm not getting on my knees to pay homage to anyone, and I'm not going to get regged all the time for money. And I think the political system is just extremely toxic and broken. So I'm just going to buy my Bitcoin, mind my own business, and well, I'm not going to really mind my own business. I mean, if I need to be, I want to remain neutral. Bitcoin's allowed me to be independent and speak my piece. And the more I get close to being affiliated with some group. I'm just not the guy that's not going to say, hey, foul, dude. Foul, foul, foul. You know, it's not cool just because I'm in a group.
How much Bitcoin is enough then? If Bitcoin is your business, it's your opt out from politics, it's your fuck you, leave me alone money. And I'm not, listen, you're operating at a different level than most people. But is there a point where it's like, okay, I've bought enough of this stuff? I know you're not there yet.
I bought more than I thought I could do by this point. I'm 28% of the way where I want to be. And that's the way I think about it. I think about adding Bitcoin, not dollar volume, just adding how much Bitcoin, you know. Look, this is a game that doesn't really, when you say that, it doesn't require massive amounts of my time and energy. I mean, when would I be done buying the best real estate on the planet? If I have excess cash and I can buy Manhattan, if you're going to sell me Manhattan over and over and over again, and I can't buy anything better than Manhattan or at a monster discount, that, you know, why would I stop buying this stuff, dude? This is a $2 trillion industry going to a $200 trillion industry. None of you guys understand how big this is going to be. It started so small. Y'all are looking at it going, oh yeah, but it can't get, dude, this thing can eat everything. Everything.
And 2 trillion is nothing.
Nothing.
In
$2
this
trillion
world. I'm old enough to
industries.
remember when a trillion was a
$2
big
trillion
number.
industries do not fail. That is a maxim, dude. Like, it's got too much inertia. It has escape velocity. It ain't coming down. So all the money that's sitting in real estate, $330 trillion, $7 trillion sitting, making 4%, it's going to move into instruments that have access to Bitcoin, and the people don't even know it. STRC. They don't know it. Good, man, paying my 10% yield. It's going to go into people like my brother, whose entrepreneurship is going to be like, whoa, I can double my cap rate. I can get better collateral. I have access to an audience. You know, his first raise, dude, most of his they were all new customers. For some reason, the real estate Bitcoin pitch brought in new players, not real estate and not Bitcoin players. He was shocked. The advertising for him, and I told him this was going to happen, dude, it's worth $5 million in advertising. He laughed at me. I bet you it's worth 15 to him.
Well, look what saying Bitcoin did for Donald Trump.
Exactly. That's what I tell him. I said, bro,
People will pour money at you if you just become one of us. You can even be the most hated person on the planet, just buy a Bitcoin and publicly talk about it, and all of a sudden you're a hero. It used to be that way. Politicians, people hated, well, he owns 0.1 Bitcoin disclosure. I love that guy. So I talked about, just briefly before we go, I got to get you more coffee. I don't want to shut your engine off. To the upside, how fast and furious do you think it continues up, and what are the factors? I mean, before I know we got to go, but before we stop, that like get it there. You know, $1 million in, we both agree Bitcoin's going to $1 million, right? Although I think that $1 million is going to buy you a lot less if that happens. So
$1 million, $1 million would be a $210 trillion market. There's only 16 million Bitcoin.
So, because 5 million are lost. Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't need it to go to $1 million.
No, neither.
You know, I'm okay with 110 this year, 120 next year, 130 next year, 140 the following year. If that's all I get, man.
That's because we're guys who grew up being told, hey, if you make 10% in the stock market, you double your money every 7 years. Great.
No, that's not.
That was the everything's a lottery ticket days.
That's not why I'm saying that. What I'm saying is that I have a business that doesn't require any fuel whatsoever. And as long as I'm willing to wait, I know that 10% every year, that $10,000 increase every year, 1 year it's going to be 50 or 100. Yeah. And it's going to be a step change, like, you know, when an airplane or when a rocket lifts off, it uses all this fuel to get up there. And as soon as it hits atmosphere, what does it do? Jettisons everything, dude. It jettisons everything that got it there. And what does it do? And I think we will have this moment. And you can't sit on the sidelines and wait for that moment to show up and go, oh, I'm going to go now. We already know, dude, you can't buy these drops. These drops are very difficult to buy. And the accelerators are hard to buy. Like you can get ripped. It's just hard to place bids in, you know? People are chasing 105 when it's 108, and it's like, dude,
Well,
it's
like
too late.
105 and 108 are the same price.
Well, exactly. And why are they doing that? Like real business people don't do that. This is what I love about Saylor. He's always been right at the market.
I'm just buying, dude.
Just buying, doesn't care, dude. Okay, then Naka goes and buys 118.
At once.
And like,
I
dude,
have no
like
more
all
money.
at one time?
With no way to get more capital right now.
Hello? Empty. Fuel tank's empty. You didn't, you know, you and I were talking about that the other day. I'm like, hey, got any more cash?
Yeah, that's the part that didn't quite, you gave me the light bulb moment
It's a
on
problem, dude. I mean, you can't run out of fuel in these games. So, doesn't require any fuel, have no human error risk, and I'm making 40% a year. But I'm assuming I'm only going to make 5 or 6 or 8. Okay. If I assume I'm only going to make 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, then I live like I'm only making 5 or 6 or 7, 8. I'm not buying airplanes.
Well, what's a $2 million Popeyes franchise make a year? 150 grand for the owner, operator, 100?
You know what? It makes you
So
like
5%?
a slave to a business.
But
For 10 years.
and to make 5%.
Yeah.
10% maybe.
And
that's why you got to own 46 of them.
Pray to God you're not in Tampa when a hurricane comes
It's
through.
never happening
And you're
again.
shut
Once in
down.
100 years, buddy.
Right out.
Can't happen. It's science.
The problem is in St. Pete, 18 months later, they still don't have hotels open.
Yeah.
So that guy's getting crushed. And try to collect from the insurance company.
Bitcoin is a business. I'm telling you, man.
You like it, huh?
You hit it.
Well, let's do something on your show one day and just talk about it. Because to me, it's very, very logical.
No, but you need to, I mean, I know you don't want to put in more effort, but you need to like go on a road show with that concept. I
need to put
that's
that
got legs.
together.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's got legs.
Oh,
Not for profit. I think like you just, even for me, like you unlocked another
this is why
avenue for marketing Bitcoin that people might get.
When I start investing in some of these, when I listen to the Pepis of the world, see, I think about it that way. Hey, wait, am I going to break my trend? I'm going to violate. Look, see, I came in, oh, wow, this is the business I'm running. It's a business, dude. Not selling is a business. Okay, like and continuing to acquire, figuring out, hey, where can I get some more cash? Back to the 80 hours. What can I sell, man? See, I have things. Oh, sell that house, sell those guns. I don't think I'm going to buy that. I'm not going to buy that Range Rover. I don't need that Range Rover, dude. Like, I can make decisions not to do things. And if that makes me incredibly wealthy, it just means I ran my business correctly, where my revenues were greater than my operating expenses. Hello? Economics 101, man.
It's making me think I shouldn't have built a studio and I should have just streamed from my bathroom.
Well, I don't.
Can't get the message out.
Maybe you don't need 4 studios.
I only got 1 so far. I got dreams, man.
You should have dreams.
But
But this is the beauty of Bitcoin. How old are you? 42? 50?
I'll be 49 next month.
Yeah, so you're a young guy, man.
Feels that way.
Well,
I feel young, actually.
yeah.
I do.
You're probably mentally,
12.
yeah, well, that's a fact.
20. Can't wait to drink.
What I was going to say was, you know, John, how old are you? 44, 49, a little bit older. This scenario of running Bitcoin as a business works for absolutely every age.
I'm sold.
Absolutely every age. And every time I invest in something like Naka and it goes down 40%, I'm like, God damn.
I just bought
dude.
Bitcoin.
I mean, that was $500,000. Okay, that's 5 Bitcoin that I've just turned into 2.5. 5 Bitcoin. Now, I'll recover it, okay? I'm not going to die.
I think you might recover it in Naka, to be quite honest.
Oh, I think I will probably too. But I wouldn't double down. Most certainly would not double down. And not all these companies are going to make it.
No.
But it will
But
stir
they'll
an M&A.
consolidate.
I think
they're going to consolidate.
It's going to bring on an M&A play.
Yeah, huge.
Hey, but just before we end, I want to just do one thing. I do something on Sundays
Church.
called I Am. Well, it's not really church. I mean, people call it church. I don't want to offend anyone. But one of the things I've learned from some of the greatest traders in the world is they are some of the most introspective people I've ever known. Really not. They look at all their areas where they're blind to that could lead to a catastrophic risk play. I have found doing this work called what I call I am. I think the two most important words in the human vocabulary, just to, like, you learn early on in your life, hey, I know who I am not, right? And knowing who you're not, like, I will never run another large company. I don't want to do it. I'm not like that anymore. And it's really important for me to know, because if I got driven into a role like that, I would hate it, right? And now I'm no longer on purpose. So I just wanted to tell your audience, if you guys are struggling, if you're looking for direction, I have a little thing. I brought you a book, and it's called the I Am book. And this is your way. This is just for you, and for you to, I just drove down the store and grabbed the book, but just to, like, hey, I am Scott Melker. Today, I think people really are confused as to who they're supposed to be and who they're supposed to operate like, and we've never taken any time. We were talking about your kids earlier.
Social media, but yeah.
Yeah, but we were talking about earlier about your kids, and, like, imagine if your 6-year-old, their first course is, I am Bobby, and I am a fire, whatever they are, but they begin envisaging who they are. And we just spend very, very little time on that. So anyway, I just found it helpful. Thought I'd bring you a book.
Appreciate it.
Start doing your I ams.
I will.
Ain't gonna hurt you.
As always,
Promise
man.
you that.
Thank you so much.